You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful humans. Happy Tuesday. Happy Mars Day. It's been a while since it was just you and me on the live stream. We had Court Burns from Briefly Beautiful brand on to help us step into Aries season yesterday. We had Morgan Lett, another astrologer, on for the full moon on Friday. So it's been a while since I showed up by myself to chat with you all and kind of missed it. So let's start our day with some happy birthdays. If you saw our show yesterday, you saw that I'm going to start each show with a little celebration, celebrating the people who are, marking their solar return today, and also just celebrating being alive, right? So happy birthday to Reese Witherspoon today. She's an Aries. Lots of great birthdays today, actually. Yesterday for the first day of this was kind of weak. So we have Reese Witherspoon's birthday, William Shatner is an Aries. It's his birthday. JJ Watt, happy birthday to you. Constance Wu, happy birthday. Keegan Michael Key from Key and Peele, it's his birthday. Lots of fun Aries birthdays today. Andrew Lloyd Webber of Phantom of the Opera, I believe, is hit the show that he wrote, produced. James Patterson, famous author. Lots of heavy hitters. But most notably, I think we can all agree, is Reese Witherspoon. Let's be honest. So happy birthday to her. And if you know someone who has a birthday today, you want to give them a shout out, let me know in the comments. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, Claudia. Feeling sluggish. Yeah, I'm getting a slower start today too. And it's interesting because last night, actually, Court, who I had on the show yesterday, we were messaging and we were like, wow, we're really feeling this square between the moon and Saturn. And it was like, we both had to go to bed early last night. It was really tiring. And as we'll talk about, the connections the moon made overnight were pretty intense. So you might still be kind of feeling the energy of that as well. So lots to talk about today. Most notably, though, we have a square between Mars and Uranus. And that could bring some tension, some clashes. So we'll go through what that means, how to best navigate it. That is exact at 2 p.m. this afternoon. So definitely feeling that today as well. If you're feeling a little bit of tension or irritation, yeah, right on track. Today's affirmation is, I give my emotions the attention they need. I give my emotions the attention they need. And that's going to be really helpful to witness and notice what's coming up for you today. Because this square, like I just said, between Mars and Uranus is really intense. A lot of the moon transits have been pretty intense. So just giving yourself the space to witness how you're feeling, accept how you're feeling is going to be, honestly, it's going to be key. And even you, Claudia, feeling sluggish, like just acknowledging that, even just writing it in the chat, like, I'm not feeling my best today. At least you're not pushing it down and like ignoring it. You know what I mean? You're at least acknowledging, okay, I'm giving myself the space to feel this way. That's one of the biggest challenges I think we run into as humans sometimes, is denying our own feelings. So we're in Aries season. We have a lot of raw energy to work with, but we're still dealing with a releasing phase of the moon. We still have a lot of planets in Pisces. If we pull up our chart here, you'll see a majority of our planets right now are in Pisces. We have quite a bit of Aquarius energy going on too. So there's still this sense of closing chapters, endings, releasing happening, along with all the fresh energy of Aries season. Give yourself a little time if you're not like full speed ahead yet, because the new moon in Aries next week can be that nice starting point, that clean slate you've been looking for. But just pay attention to whatever's coming up for you, especially today, so you can clear it and you can set new intentions under the new moon. So let's start by talking about this square between Mars and Uranus. It's happening at 12 degrees, so take a look at 12 degrees in the middle of Aquarius in your own chart, as well as the middle of Taurus. That's what we're going to be really feeling today. And also, just any fixed signs in your chart are going to be activated by this square. So the fixed signs are Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Leo. Pay attention to what's going on in those areas, especially right around the 12-degree mark. That can give you some insight as to what is going to come up for you today. What's going to be like triggered or activated? It's a pretty triggering transit when we're talking about a square between Mars and Uranus. So Mars, of course, rules our aggression. It's very feisty, fiery. It rules Aries, actually. So it has a lot of energy and motivation and drive. Uranus is the disruptor of the zodiac. It wants to change things up. It wants to do things differently. It wants things to... It's transformative, but in a way of like tearing things down in order for things to be done a little bit differently. So this square, this 90-degree angle between Mars and Uranus, can make us feel more restless, a little bit impulsive. It can feel irritating, honestly. Just little things can get under your skin today. We have this instinctive desire when Mars squares off to Uranus to rebel against any sort of constraints put on us. Mars energy really likes to be free, and so does Uranus energy. Neither of them really like rules or constraints. So if you're noticing that, just kind of feeling a little bit rebellious, or like somebody, maybe even like your boss, telling you to do something and instinctively you're just like, no, I don't want to do that. Probably Mars and Uranus. And failing to think things through before you act could get you into some trouble today. It could cause conflict or further frustration. So really try not to blow everything up. If you're feeling that irritation, again, hold space for your emotions, witness your emotions, give yourself that grace to fall back and be like, okay, how am I feeling right now? Rather than just letting it trigger you and going into full-blown fight mode, because it'll be easier to do that today. Try working with this energy as well by making small adjustments rather than blowing everything up, like I said. So maybe it's a matter of just a small suggestion or trying things a little bit differently, one step at a time, instead of just tearing it all down or blowing it all up. Stay open to possibilities. Uranus really wants us to be open to the future, to possibilities. It's also like this struggle or this conflict between the present moment. Mars is very much in the present moment, wants us to act now, do things now, and the future. Uranus represents the future. It's innovative. We're thinking about how to do things differently in the future, how to make us more liberated or free in the future. So, both of these energies really want freedom and rebellion. However, it could be easy to get caught up in our feelings or our impulses right now. And Uranus in this square, in this tense 90-degree angle, is asking us, like, make sure whatever you're doing today is actually going to serve you in the future. Keep the future in mind, regardless of what comes up for you today. And be aware of the role your own ego is playing too. Mars can be very egotistical. So irritation, a lot of it is just, or frustration, whatever's showing up for you, a lot of it is our own ego kind of like, oh, I don't like that. And so just, with the tension in the skies today, it's really an opportunity to pay attention to your own behavior, your own emotions, your own actions. Really try to come from a place of observing yourself today rather than observing other people and being annoyed by all the things they're doing. So yeah, and remember, everyone's experiencing the same energy. So maybe you feel like, okay, I've got a handle on this. I watched the live stream. I aligned with the energy. I know what's up. But maybe the people you're around don't know the energy that's happening today, and they're just feeling irritable for no reason. And I don't know about you guys, but do you find yourself kind of in a bad mood and not know why? And it's almost even more irritating because you don't know why you're in the bad mood. I mean, that's why I love astrology, truly, because it helps you kind of understand the energy that's happening around you. But remember, not everybody follows astrology. Not everybody knows there's a square between Mars and Uranus today. So you could face some outside disturbances as well. You could face other people being more irritable or rebellious. And, pay attention to any messages the universe is sending you through other people's behavior as well. How can you react a little bit differently or hold space for someone else's emotions without taking them on? How can you create more energetic boundaries? Although we do have a lot of Pisces energy, it can make us feel more empathetic. It can make us take on other people's emotions more easily. So today is really a day you're going to want to have boundaries with yourself and other people. Watch your own actions, and if someone else's actions or emotions are getting pretty fiery or irritable or rebellious, like putting up that energetic boundary so you're not taking on someone else's energy too. This is probably the most tense transit we have this week, and the one we'll feel the most. We'll still be feeling this a little bit tomorrow as well. So just try not to let your inner rebel take the wheel. Try not to, throw a fit or blow up. And if other people are doing that, know that you have the universe has your back. That's the deck we're going to be pulling from. You're here. You know about the energy. So just give yourself grace. Give other people grace. Yeah, exactly, Susan. Perhaps my irritation isn't all on the 18 and 20-year-old men in the house with me. Exactly. And Mars too. Mars is a very masculine energy. So I wouldn't be surprised if this shows up a little bit more for men or people who present as more masculine, because it is that like raw masculine energy. So the square to Uranus could make the men in your life especially feel a little bit more like rebellious or cranky, and sometimes it's not even like people's actions that are rebellious. It's even can just be on an energetic level. Sometimes do you feel this, like, I don't know, with your partner or your kids, like you can just sense their energy because you're so close to them walking around the house, like, what is up with you? Like, I can tell something is up with you. It might be one of those days too. And if that's the case, again, just create that energetic boundary. Let people have their moment. Sometimes we need to go through a little bit of a blow up in order to really figure out what's going on with us. So it's not the most fun transit to talk about, that's for sure. It's not the most fun energy to experience, that's for sure. But again, understanding it, knowing what's happening can help you navigate it. So that's the square between Mars and Uranus today. Quite a feisty transit. And again, pay attention to the fixed signs in your charts, because with Mars and Uranus squaring off in fixed signs can be very stubborn and like set in their ways. So, conflict today, it could be, if you find yourself in a conflict today, it'll probably feel like, you're right, the other person knows they're right, and we're just like kind of butting heads, and both of us are trying to like rebel and just get that like almost teen angst out. So just know everybody's going to be very set in their ways today if conflict does arise. Doesn't mean one person's right or wrong. It doesn't mean you can't be friends or the relationship is not going to work out. It just means it's a difficult day in the skies. So the moon has been in Scorpio all morning. It's still in Scorpio for the next hour or so. You can see that here at the very final degrees of Scorpio. But let's talk about what happened overnight. Because when I say I felt the moon's transit so acutely, this time, oh my goodness, it was like clockwork. So as I mentioned at the top of this, Court, who was on the show yesterday, and I were messaging like, okay, we're really feeling this square between the moon and Saturn. And by the way, both of us have Scorpio moon, so we're probably a little bit more in tune with the moon transits right now while the moon is in Scorpio. Pay attention if you have a Scorpio moon too, or if you have a Sagittarius moon, the next couple days you might be feeling the energy a little bit more acutely. So The moon in Scorpio, we know, helps us dive into our subconscious, pull up those shadows. It's great for releasing. We talked about this a lot yesterday. Although we have this fresh energy to work with, still definitely some releasing that can happen under this phase of the moon, specifically with the moon in Scorpio. Really could be bringing fears to the surface or limiting beliefs to the surface, asking you to let them go and release. But at 1 a.m., the moon harmonized with Neptune, both of them in watery signs, Scorpio, the moon, and Pisces for Neptune. So did you have weird dreams last night? Because, oh my gosh, my dreams were so freaking intense last night. I don't normally have insanely vivid dreams or anything like that, but I had like the longest, clearest dream last night. I kept waking up early this morning. I was restless, and I woke up and told my partner, like, I had this really intense dream, and then I was researching the meaning of the dream. So anyway, Neptune rules our dreams. It's the planet of dreams. And when we have a trine, a harmony between the Scorpio moon, which is kind of bringing us into our subconscious more, and then Neptune, the planet of dreams and subconscious messages could have come through very strongly and very easily last night. Our intuition is also heightened, so pay attention to whatever dreams you had. The meaning behind them could be your intuition trying to tell you something. And sometimes we can't really listen to our intuition as easily when our waking mind is going a mile a minute. So it's in that dream state, that sleep state, that messages can start to come through. So let me know. Scorpio moon is spicy today also, but last night my dreams were so crazy, Court. It was so bizarre. I had a dream that my partner and I were in jail and we got arrested, and our dog was there with us, but our other dog was lost, and it was extremely stressful. So, this morning I'm like, what does it mean if you have a dream about being in jail and all this? It was wild. So that happened overnight. If you had weird dreams too, let me know. Let me know in the comments. And then at 4 a.m., the moon formed a conjunction to the south node and opposed the north node. So also pay attention to those messages that came through in dreams. Like, this could have been a night where you had a dream about a past life with the moon conjunct the south node, or maybe some past shadows or pain or things you've been repressing are coming through your dreams or coming up in your dreams through your subconscious. It's also possible to get a glimpse of subconscious fears when this happens. So the moon conjunct the south node can bring up like shadows or things that we thought we already worked through that maybe still need some attention. And with the moon opposing the north node too, it is helping us, like, when we release these things and hold space for these things, move towards our purpose. But of course, in order to do that, we have to acknowledge our past. So yeah, past lives could have come through in dreams last night, or just maybe things that need to be released and let go of. Yeah, and then I love how you said the Scorpio moon is spicy today, because the latest transit we're feeling right now still is a sextile between the Scorpio moon and Pluto. I promise there's a silver lining to today's transits. We're getting there. I promise. It's coming. But so far, it's been a little bit of a doozy. So when the moon forms this supportive angle to Pluto, it's very much in this Scorpio energy of releasing still. Again, asking us to release old fears, let old ways die, leave the past in the past. But we really have to be intentional about doing that this morning in order to see the full potential of this transit. So the moon and Pluto supporting each other really want us to face those fears and let them go. And this could bring a really transformative, powerful moment today if we let it, if we lean into it. So really pay attention really throughout the morning to what fears are coming up for you, what limiting beliefs are coming up for you, what needs to be released. The moon in Scorpio this morning really wants us to let go, close old chapters, let old ways die. The moon is actually void right now as we're speaking. So the moon's void until noon, until it moves into Sagittarius. This means that if you're watching right now and you're thinking about starting something in the next hour, wait until afternoon. Wait until afternoon to start a new project, especially if you have high hopes for what's going to come out of this project. Just wait until the moon is no longer void. Instead, focus on maybe tying up some loose ends over the next hour, checking off things on your to-do list that maybe you've been avoiding or not wanting to deal with. Or if there's something, the beautiful thing about this void moon is we've been talking about releasing fears, leaving the past in the past, and sometimes that can involve difficult conversations, or it can involve just difficult realizations. And a void moon can be a really beautiful time to do hard work because nothing major is going to happen. If you go there, if you revisit old memories or have that tough conversation with a friend or a partner that you've been avoiding, the void moon almost has a dampening effect. So it can kind of it's like bubble wrap. It can keep things from breaking or having some sort of detrimental consequence. So maybe not the best time to start anything new, but instead wrap things up over the next hour until noon. And that's when the moon moves into Sagittarius. And we love a Sagittarius moon. It's just going to lighten the mood quite a bit, especially during Aries season with the moon in Sag. It's harmonizing with the Aries energy. We're going to have a lot of fire over the next 2 days. We can expect to feel more outgoing, more social. We might even feel that fresh energy that we've been waiting for Aries season, or at least get a little glimpse of it with the moon. Sagittarius. We're more generous as well with the moon in Sagittarius, and we crave fun. We're nurtured by fun, letting go, letting loose, feeling that sense of freedom, and just moving our body, enjoying life. Sagittarius energy is really great at just helping us enjoy things, seeing the positive in things, being more optimistic. That's the energy we're stepping into this afternoon. And the only other connection the moon makes this afternoon is a nice harmonious angle between the moon and the sun. So this fiery trine between the Sagittarius moon and the Aries sun, giving us the confidence, giving us the passion. I wrote, giving us the passion of 1,000 suns. So dramatic, but it's true. These signs love to put themselves out there. It's very external, outgoing, moving your body will feel really nurturing, really good. This is a very hot aspect too, we're feeling ourselves when the moon and sun harmonize in fire signs. Passions could run very high tonight, and not in a bad way, in a really good way. So you might feel really lit up by something tonight. Follow that, lean into that, be nurtured by that. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel good. So that's what's going on today. It's we have this really tense start to the day. Middle of the day could still feel a bit rocky because of this square between Mars and Uranus. Will really feel all day long, honestly. Could bring some conflict, could bring some tension, and as wonderful as the fiery trine is between the moon and the sun, it does add a level of passion. So just, again, beware of kind of burning too hot, flying too close to the sun, if you know what I mean. You don't want to get burned. You don't want to burn anybody else. And with ample energy to work with, if we point that in the wrong direction, or if we put too much of our energy into maybe conflict or an argument or irritation, it definitely has the potential for an explosion. So use the fire energy wisely. And Morgan on Friday, Morgan Lett, she had really great advice for Aries season that I've heard her say a couple times now, and it's pace yourself. Pace yourself during Aries season. Lots of fire energy to work with, but we like a slow burn. We don't want to burn everything all at once. So try to keep a steady pace over the next couple weeks. And then in the background, we still have Chiron forming this supportive angle to Mars. Really, even though we have this square between Mars and Uranus, anything that does come up or any conflict that does arise has the potential for healing, has the potential to help us along our healing journey. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't go looking for conflict or looking for that healing opportunity, but just know that we are supported by Chiron in the background, reminding us that every obstacle is an opportunity to better ourselves, to become closer to our highest self, and to heal ourselves, to heal other people. Tomorrow we'll be talking about a conjunction between Mercury and Neptune. So I would say pay attention to your dreams all week, honestly, because Mercury forming a conjunction to Neptune could definitely bring some messages through dreams. And, dreamy ideas could come through in your waking life as well tomorrow and really throughout the week, because Neptune's getting quite a bit of activation coming up. So that's what we'll talk about a little bit more tomorrow. But now let's do an overview of the day today, and then we will pull a card and see what message Spirit wants to come through. So today we have a tense square between Mars and Uranus. The planet of aggression and the planet of disruption are clashing with one another. This can bring about conflict, especially with both of these planets in fixed signs. A lot of people are really going to be stuck in their ways and wanting to prove their point. So the goal here is to be aware of this energy and not to go picking fights or looking for fights. Try to claim your own energy, hold energetic boundaries, and if disagreements or conflict does arise, try to find the healing in it. Try to find the opportunity to understand the person on the other side of the conversation a little better. This could also bring internal conflict between the present and the future. So if you're feeling some disruptions or discomfort today, know that it's temporary. You're feeling it for a reason, and pay attention to what's coming up. Really hold space for your own emotions and the emotions of other people. The moon is in Scorpio throughout the morning. It harmonized with Neptune overnight. So you could have had some really vivid dreams or powerful messages come through your subconscious. And the moon formed a sextile to Pluto this morning, inviting us to leave the past in the past, let the old ways die so we can transform and we can step into the fresh energy of Aries season. The moon moves into Sagittarius this afternoon, where it harmonizes with the sun. We'll be feeling more passionate, more fiery, more confident by the end of the day. Just don't let that fire burn too hot. You don't want to get burned. All right, let's pull a card. So as I mentioned, we'll pull from the Universe Has Your Back deck. I was just really feeling a nice, quick, simple message today. I think we could just use something bite-sized to think about. So let's see what needs to come through. And as always, this is your time to ask questions. Let me know how the energy is feeling for you. I know people have already said they're feeling the tension today. But, sometimes I think feeling what's going on is like a sign that you are in tune with it. So it's kind of like, as much as it might not feel nice, it's kind of reassuring. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm supposed to be feeling this right now. So at least I'm in sync with the universe, I don't know. Just a thought. All right. What do we need to know today? Interesting. The card we got was, through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. Through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. This is a great reminder to find some stillness today. It probably won't feel natural to be still today. But if you can find that, even just a moment to say a prayer, to, a 5-minute meditation you find on YouTube or on your Apple Watch, the 1-minute breathing exercise, something quick and simple. It might not feel like it's having a huge impact, but it could just get you in the right energetic space to handle any tense energy that's coming your way. And also know that on such a tense day, if you are able to create a moment of peace for yourself, as the card says, it creates a ripple effect of peace in the world. So everyone is feeling this tense energy today. And if you're feeling called to help or be of service to the energy, to the world, finding that moment of peace for yourself can be very beneficial for me, for all of us in the community, for everyone in the world. So this card is encouraging us to take that moment of peace today. It's not going to feel natural, but it's definitely going to be beneficial. All right. And yeah, Susan, it really does make me feel in sync. And I think it's also a reminder when we're talking about tense transits, like life isn't supposed to feel easy all the time. life isn't supposed to feel bland all the time or like steady all the time. We're here having a human experience so we can feel all the things, right? So sometimes experiencing intense emotions, it's like, okay, well, I'm human, right? Like I was made to feel these things, and that's okay. It's okay to feel those things, because it's often when we get into that place of shaming ourselves, like I don't want to feel this, or I shouldn't feel this, or shaming other people doing the same thing, that we create resistance to whatever our body or our emotions are trying to show us. So thanks for the hearts. Yeah. So just know that whatever is coming up for you, or for the guys in your house, Susan, it's all here to show us we're alive. We can feel. Thank goodness. Thank you for showing me that I can like feel intense things and still live and still survive, you know? All right, so just a few housekeeping things before I let you go. I want to show you guys something actually that I added to my website, because I am trying to do some fun little announcements every day this week, just stepping into the fresh energy of Aries season. And I added a fun feature to my website that I want to show you guys. Hold on, let me pull this up for you. And this can just be really helpful as you are learning to track the transits on your own. If you're like, okay, I know that there's going to be this, we'll just use today's forecast, for example. I know that there's a square between Mars and Uranus coming up. Olivia hasn't talked about it on the live stream yet, or I kind of want to be prepared for it. So if you go to thespiritualjournalist.com and you just click on daily astrology forecast, I added this little search bar, and I think it's going to be really helpful for people who want to do their own research. But for example, or if you're looking at like a date in the future and you're like, okay, on Friday, there's going to be, we'll just come up with a square between Venus and Uranus, which actually happened over the weekend, but we're pretending. So you can literally type in Venus square Uranus, and all of these search results of different times Venus squared Uranus, all these times that I've written about already, will come up. Now, it won't be exact to maybe the signs Venus and Uranus are in. However, you can look at the forecast that day and just kind of get attuned to the energy. So I just want to let you know that tool is there for you. Or, you know, if you want to know kind of the energy of like a Sagittarius moon, you know, you can just type in the keywords. So, yeah, 11/11 right now, everybody make a wish. But of course, nothing came up. It should come up, but anyway, it'll give you, my little alarm is going off, there we go. So it'll give you kind of the last dates, or this could be a great tool if, you know, a major transit is coming up and you want to know the last time that happened. You can type in the main keywords and all the different times that the moon was in Scorpio or Venus squared Uranus or whatever will come up for you. So just wanted to show that to you guys so you know it's there for you. And if you didn't know already, you can always pull up today's forecast during these live conversations and follow along with me. So, you know, here's today's forecast. There's a whole description of Mars square Uranus, each of the transits the moon makes, and you can find these even before our live streams. They come out in the middle of the night. So if you want a sneak peek of what's coming up and like first thing in the morning and you can't make it to a live stream, this is always there for you every day, a written forecast and the affirmation of the day right at the top to help you kind of get a little nugget of wisdom before you dive into the astrology transits of the day. Don't should on people. Yes, I love that. I've heard this before. Great, great, great motto to live by. Don't should on people. Basically, like, don't tell other people what they should be doing. Don't expect other people to be doing things the way you think they should do them, right? Just like allow people to be. We're all human. We're all trying to navigate the same energy. And sometimes that energy is a little more difficult. One more announcement I want to make. So I'm going to start doing a monthly giveaway. And if you're here, you're probably watching these live streams pretty often anyway. But if you take a screenshot or a video or whatever of you watching today's transits, tag me on Instagram, share it to your Instagram story. I'll go through everyone who has tagged me on Instagram throughout the month. And at the end of the month, I'll pull someone or pick someone, announce it here on the live stream to give away a free astrology reading. I know a lot of you do this already, and I really appreciate it. It's a really wonderful way for me to get this out there and to connect with more people. So I wanted to start rewarding those of you who are already doing it and encourage those of you who aren't to share as well. So I'll announce more about this on Instagram in the next couple days. But I'll be giving away a free astrology reading every month for people who are sharing about this show on their social channels and encouraging other people to watch. So super excited to do that and to connect with more of you that way. All right. The only other thing I have to tell you is we have another episode of The Spiritual Journalist, which will be live in actually about 2 hours right here wherever you're watching. Heather Donaldson is joining us. She is an ICU nurse here in Sacramento, and I've actually interviewed her a couple times before when I was still working in local news. But we're going to talk about the pandemic, of course, but I really want to have this conversation to allow people to understand her experience. This isn't about anybody's beliefs about COVID or the pandemic. And if you are going to join the conversation, I ask you to come with an open mind and kind of reserve your judgments. But I really think it's powerful to hear how someone who doesn't have the option to just kind of turn off the news and shut it out has been navigating over the past 2 years, what trends she's seen, and how it's impacted her own mental health and her own spirituality, because Heather's a really cool person. I mean, she pulls like tarot cards and does yoga. And before she was a nurse, she used to be a singer and an artist. So she has a ton of life experience and wisdom to share. And I'm really grateful that she's going to come on and just kind of share her experience. I think it's going to be really powerful. So that will be at 1:11 this afternoon, or you can find our interview anytime, wherever you listen to podcasts or on my YouTube channel. All right. That's going to do it for today. Thanks so much for joining me. I know it took me a little longer to get on here today. Definitely feeling the intensity, as many of you are as well. And we'll be back tomorrow morning to talk all about that conjunction between Mercury and Neptune. Get ready for some psychic downloads, you guys. Pay attention today even to what's coming through. Random thoughts might not actually be random thoughts. And if you're feeling at all lost today, remember our affirmation. I give my emotions the attention they need. I give my emotions the attention they need, and sometimes giving them the attention could just be taking a moment of stillness to witness them, finding that peace in your current state. So grateful you joined me here this morning. I'm so grateful you showed up for yourself. I'm so grateful you showed up for this community. I love you. I will see you right back here tomorrow morning, but until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.